Welcome to our Mind the Moments Tuesday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. This is a place where we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to process as a community how we can incorporate these practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I am so happy to be here with Tara Healey, founder and director of Harvard Pilgrim's mindfulness program. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Suzanne, and good morning, everyone. So nice to see. There's a lot of you joining this morning. It's great.
Yeah, we've had a wonderful crowd the last couple of days when Greg was here as well. So
yeah, it's great.
So happy to see all of you here. Today, we will start with a question as we do, and Tara will start us off with a question, and then she'll lead us in a guided practice. Share some thoughts, and after that we'll have time for questions. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, just open up the chat, and we've got a lot of lovely comments coming in already this morning. So good morning, good morning, good morning to all of you. And just open up your chat, and if you'd like, click the drop-down menu where it says to, and you can click on everyone, and that will give you the opportunity to see all the comments coming in real time. And that's it. So Tara, how do we want to start us off this morning?
Well, so October, I think many of you probably know, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I thought the question this morning could be around that topic. And what I would love to ask is, what is one thing that you do every day or almost every day that supports your mental well-being, that is important to you, that makes you feel good? It could be something small. It doesn't have to be anything big, but something that you do on a daily basis that supports you. So Suzanne, while people are thinking, I would ask you, and then I'll share, and then we'll see what folks have said.
Yeah, so exercise is actually a requirement for me. For my mental well-being and just clear mind. So be it at least a mile walk, that's something that I try to do most every day, or yoga, or some kind of fitness class on YouTube, or on Zoom. Got to do it.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's hard to pick one thing. I think it's a little tricky, but knowing that you probably do a lot of things. So the one thing that I do every single day is I talk to my sister. I mean, we just never, well, maybe we miss an occasional day, but not often. And, the importance of social connection with our mental health is so strong. The research is so strong. So it's funny, like, it's not the first thing I thought of, but then I was like, oh, well, just, the connecting in with my sister, who's also my bestie, is, yeah. So let's see what people are saying.
Yeah, so we've got meditation, morning walk, a walk emoji, cup of coffee, walk, hugging and singing. Lovely. Getting outside, a cup of tea in the morning to wake up, a second cup in the afternoon to relax and take a break. Go Red Sox. Walk, Bible verse of the day, and exercise every day.
Yeah.
Nice. 12,000 plus steps per day, which translates to over 6 miles.
Wow.
How's that? Coffee too. Looking at pictures of my 5 grandsons. Spending time outside.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, that's a very
So before we go into practice, I wanted to just say a little bit more about mindfulness and how it supports our mental health and well-being. And also just bring in a little bit of caution with it as well. So the research is pretty strong about the positive impact of mindfulness on our mental well-being. And, the research, probably since I think 2009, has increased dramatically. I mean, just to give you kind of a sense of that, up to 2009, I think there were only around 410 peer-reviewed studies. And from 2009 to today, we have about 5,000 peer-reviewed studies. So the evidence that supports the benefits of mindfulness on our mental health and our physical health are strong. Specifically, if we think about the mental health, it has been shown in numerous studies, and many of them done right here locally, Massachusetts, is that, and I think we can empirically notice this as well, that it eases psychological distress and anxiety. It helps with our just emotion and attention regulation, decrease rumination, and relatedly perspective taking. So I think one of the big benefits is that it kind of helps us to check our own perspective, to look at our own thoughts and distinguish those that are helpful and those that are not helpful. And in terms of perspective taking, a greater capacity to listen and to be open to others, like others' views. The other great thing in terms of our mental health and well-being is that it can slow cognitive decline. So I know Sarah Lazar was doing some studies with people that had dementia. There was also some research, I think it was at the BI, Beth Israel Deaconess, back in 2014. They had some really good results on slowing cognitive decline for people with Alzheimer's. So this is a very good thing to do for our mental well-being. And when our mental health is in good shape, it helps our body. But here's the one thing I want to say is that it's really important that to know that mindfulness is not a panacea, and people that are severely depressed and anxious, dysregulated emotionally in some way, or actively addicted would not benefit from mindfulness as a first step. But that mindfulness combined with other like treatment modalities, along with a really good clinician therapist, or even just a guide who's very deeply steeped in practice, their own practice, and they understand, would be a better way in. And the other thing I want to say too is if you don't have severe depression or anxiety, there might be days where you're feeling more anxious. And in that case, instead of doing a sitting meditation, you could do a movement practice, because movement can really support us when we feel anxious, when it's not, a kind of anxiety that's debilitating. That movement practices are really helpful. So I just felt like that was important to say before we get started. But having said that, let's go ahead and begin practice. And as always, you can do a standing practice. So if you feel like you want to be standing upright, you can do that. Otherwise, sitting is also fine. And just take a moment to adjust your body so that you're sitting in a way or standing in a way that is engaged, that is upright, that is present, that's aware. And just kind of notice how your body feels from the activity of your morning. So perhaps pulsing or vibration, temperature, just see like what's your body offering you, what kind of data from your activity this morning. Take a moment now to do 2 deep breaths. So a deep inhalation through the nose, and then double the length of the exhalation, either through the nose or the mouth. And we'll begin by letting go of all that has happened so far today and releasing anticipation of what's next. So bringing the mind and the body together in this moment. As we're settled into a posture that we feel will best serve us this morning, take a moment to just be aware of sound that could be in the room that you're in, or perhaps outside of the room. And note hearing. So without labeling what's making it, but more just hearing. And allowing sound to remain in the background as it will. Just begin to gradually bring your awareness back inward to the whole body. We'll just do a sweep of the body, kind of different parts of the body, noticing how things are. So bringing your attention to the very top of the head. And as we move through different parts of the body, just noticing sensation or lack of sensation and softening to the degree that you're able. And bringing your awareness down now over the sides of the head, including the ears and the back of the head, and noticing what's there. And coming now to the face, starting with the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks and jaw, the mouth, including the tongue, and softening the muscles of the face just to the degree that you can, and noticing any sensation. Bringing awareness down over the neck, so the throat and the sides of the neck and the back of the neck. And sweeping attention now down over the shoulders, upper arms, both sides, left and the right, the elbows, the forearms, and the hands. And these arms and hands that work for us throughout the day, just simply aware of sensation, lack of sensation, perhaps points of contact with the hands and another part of the body. And bringing awareness now to the torso. So the front of the body, the back of the body, internally, just aware of sensation. Lack of sensation is something to be aware of as well. Moving awareness down over the buttocks and the hips and the thighs. And if you're sitting, perhaps aware of the point of contact with the body and the surface. Just the physical sensation of that point of contact. If you're standing, perhaps the soles of the feet. Even if you're sitting, perhaps the soles of the feet. And sweeping awareness again now, thighs, knees, lower legs and feet. And release and bring awareness to the whole body, aware of how things are. Noticing any particular areas where there might be holding, and see if you can bring attention to that area and soften again, just the degree that you're able, or perhaps noticing sensation in one specific part of the body and allowing that sensation, bringing curiosity and interest, letting it be, allowing for it. And let's begin to narrow the focus of attention. And you can pick something that's going to serve as an anchor for the wandering mind. And that could be breath sensation. So when you breathe in and when you breathe out, notice where in the body the sensation is strongest. And for the remainder of our time together sitting, just keep coming back to that point of contact with breath sensation. Allow that to anchor the wandering mind. So tracking the in-breath, tracking the out-breath, And it's also fine to use something other than breath. So if breath is challenging for you today or in general, you could use sound that happens to be consistent in the area you're in. You could use point of contact with the body and the surface. You could even take the palms of your hands and rest them on a countertop and feel that point of contact, using that as an anchor to return to. So taking a moment to select an anchor to help stabilize the tension. Noticing where the mind is, softening the body and returning to the anchor of your choice. And again, noticing where the mind is. Just soft mental note thinking, whole body awareness, soften, return to your anchor. And as we begin to bring this practice to a close, just do on your own, just do kind of come off your anchor and just do a sweep of the body, noticing how things are, not looking for anything in particular, even relaxation, but just noticing how things are, pleasant or unpleasant, with an attitude of interest and receptivity, and allowing whatever is happening, softening the resistance if it's challenging to the degree that you can. And may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may we send that offering to all of those known and unknown to us. And may our practice benefit all beings everywhere. And as you feel ready, allowing the eyes to open if they were closed. And maybe take a little bit of a stretch. And so we've got a little bit of time to kind of just connect in and offer thoughts or observations or share a resource. Like, as I said, I think last Thursday, like, we love hearing things that have been supportive or helpful to you, whether they're books or apps or, you know, a website or a movie or a documentary or, you know, just in general. Yeah, so I think, you know, we could open the floor. Suzanne, it looked like you had something you wanted to say.
Well, I love that you did the body scan practice this morning, because first of all, when I first started meditating, that's the way I
Yeah.
brought some consistency to my practice, is I would listen to a body scan every day, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a great way to build a regular practice. I used to listen to Mark Coleman's body scan, which I really loved.
He's great.
He is. Yeah, I love that. So.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one thing that I want to say too, and about the body scan and about meditation and just thought, is that thoughts tend to slip in unnoticed, right? I mean, that happens to us all day long. Thoughts slip in unnoticed, and it can tend to have a bit of control over us. We don't necessarily see it. But when we're in meditation and thoughts slip in, there's always, even if it's a pleasant thought, there's always a subtle bodily contraction. We don't even know it's happening. So the thought slips in. We might be ruminating or remembering or planning. The body is very subtly contracting. So I think it's really helpful to notice that when you're in formal meditation practice, that when you see that you've gotten hooked by a thought, it's like, ooh, you know, you sort of wake up. That's a really good moment because you're awake and aware. You see, release the thought. You could even label thinking, soften the body, return to your anchor. So it's just kind of a good, you know, it's just a good format.
Yeah, and I think of Chris Willard when we're talking about mental wellness. He's a psychotherapist in the area of mindfulness in his practice. And I remember him mentioning that specifically, that is a moment of mindfulness when we, you know, when that thought comes in and we notice it. So,
and you notice it, right? And the opposite is when you're lost in thought, right? You're lost in thought. I love the phrase lost. Somebody is mentioning, Suzanne, 2009. Why since 2009? You know, it's a really, it's a good question. So around 2005 or 2006, Dr. Sarah Lazar, she's a neuroscientist at Mass General, actually published research from an MRI study where she was doing, she put people through a mindfulness-based stress reduction class, and she did functional MRI pre and then post. And I'm not sure how much further out, but her results were pretty compelling. So that there was structural change in the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, and the amygdala. So the amygdala actually got a little bit smaller, which is what you'd want because that's associated with fear and stress. So I feel like there was a lot of quiet research going on around 2005, 2006, even back as far as 1980. There were maybe one or two peer-reviewed studies, but there were a group of people like Dr. Richard Davidson, a neuroscientist out of the University of Wisconsin, and other people that were kind of quietly paving the way for some other neuroscientists like Dr. Judson Brewer. Gosh, there's a lot of them, Dr. Amishi Jha. And so Sarah's work, I think, was certainly not the first, because there had been some other peer-reviewed studies, but that was compelling. It made the cover of Time magazine. And it's really hard to say. I think, if you Google the word mindfulness, you'll get like 300 million results. And I wonder back in 2005, or even, previous to that, it's probably possible to find out what that number was. But there's been this dramatic increase in the interest in mindfulness, and the science is now validating it. So I think for folks who are a little bit more skeptical, like, what is this woo-woo thing? A lot of the researchers have impeccable credentials, and they're showing really, really good results. But I always say, this is an empirical practice in that you be the scientist and your own subject. And if you're willing to really practice in a disciplined, consistent way on a daily or almost daily basis, start to see how that impacts your life. Like, that's really good data for you, and it's empirical. It's your own. So hope that was helpful. I could say more, but I know we've got about a minute left.
Someone's asked about, it has mentioned Mind Valley Uncompromised Life Course.
Oh.
And if I heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody in the community, has anybody else heard of it?
I made a note of it to check it out.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, we could look into it, but I'm not, not familiar with it.
Good to know, and we'll take a look and see.
Yeah, definitely.
So and someone's mentioned they're interested in mindfulness and being a trainer. So that's
yeah, and there's a lot to that. So you could even feel free to reach out to us offline. Yeah. Ask MindtheMoment at harvardpilgrim.org. So you could reach out that way as well.
So I'll share the website.
Oh, I think it's on a slide, right? I think, Suzanne.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Here, I'll share this that we shared in the beginning.
Good to be with everybody this morning. It's really interesting, like, how the numbers are rising for these Tuesday and Thursday classes. And I think with summer behind us and kind of coming into the fall.
Yeah. Let's see here.
So ask MTM at harvardpilgrim.org.
Yeah. And then I'll share this website, since I, for some reason, wasn't sharing properly.
Yeah, so for anybody that can hang on.
That's the YouTube channel. And so MindtheMoment, you can get to the MindtheMoment. And I'll share this other one. Okay. All right. So we've run out of time, but we'll see you back here on Tuesday, where Shanti Douglas will be with us. And so happy to have everyone.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
And come on back, because we love having you.
We do. So thanks, everybody. Really good to be. It's hard to meditate alone. So it's nice to have this regular community.
Yeah, we're happy to have all of you. So we'll see you all soon. Have a great morning.